Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. There'll be time very soon for us to open it up and converse. Those of you who know me know that this evolving, living, teaching practice is so much about us having a conversation and learning what things mean for us, not just me saying words, but what can we discover for ourselves and what can we discover together. So today we will consider a new way of thinking, perhaps. I think of it like a new way of perceiving, a new way of perceiving myself in the world, a new way of perceiving reflexology or any practice. It's a big part of my work. It's a big focus in my more advanced classes, one of which I just taught level 2 RTA in Maine. And it really got me thinking that I want to bring this as a conversation for a greater community because I think there's a lot of places we can go to together that we're just beginning to touch on. So I'm going to first read the description for the class, then we'll know what we're doing and where we can go together. So. Okay. And Letters to a Young Poet. That's by Rilke. Rilke wrote, "Don't search for the answers which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer." In this class today, we will hold the questions. Number one, what is the power within and around us? And in what ways do we use them in a session? Number two, is it possible to ignite one's healing potential by thought and intention alone? Number three, is it also possible to influence another's healing potential? In my four-part class, Reflexology for Trauma and Addiction, of which I was just speaking about, we explore exercises in self-reflection and perspective shifting. So in level 1, and I'm bringing this up because it's going to help us go to alchemy today. So in level 1, we examine what I call a no-mind approach to wellness. This explores ways of being that release our ideas of who we think we are and who the client is. We lean into the unknown, depart from habitual thought patterns, and trust that by letting go of our analytical mind, there is a greater opportunity to access peace within and without. In level 2, we learn to deeply connect with our own and our client's heart. We adopt a new way of moving with our client from a heart-centered place. I call that synchrony symphony, and I'll explain what that is later, where our movement, characterized by subtle rocking and circular gestures, influences the client. And in level 3, we deep dive into what I call alchemical reflexology, which is what we're touching on today, reading a taste of today. The nature of an alchemical process involves changing something from one form into another, such as a base metal into precious gold. In alchemical reflexology, we ignite the heart, the strongest neuronal processing center that does not engage in or use words to define its expression. This heart-centered approach provides an opportunity for a shift to occur within both the client and practitioner. That which is stuck or stagnant has an opportunity to transmute into expansion and flow. So that's where we're going today. That's what's happening. So I'd like to begin first. I'm going to just define reflexology as I know it, and then I'm going to define alchemy as I know it, and then we're going to begin to lean into these questions. And we're also going to do some self-care and ways of perceiving self as we work. So reflexology for me is a system, like any other system, like a biological system. It's a system by which a practitioner or a non-professional. It could be somebody that is providing self-care to themselves. So it's a system by which a practitioner or a person to self applies pressure on reflex points or areas on the feet, the hands, the face, the outer ears, that correspond to every single part of the body, every area of the human body. So the entire body from the entire body form inside and out is reflected in this little mini map in one's feet, hands, outer ears. So our bodies are made up of approximately, 30 trillion cells. Those cells make up what we have named our shoulders, our neck, our liver, our pancreas, our heart. Those are all cells. There's liver cells, there's brain cells, there's different types of cells, right? Approximately 30 trillion of them. So when I apply pressure also on cells, I am sending a message via this elaborate circuitry of our central nervous system. The central nervous system is composed of an incredible and very intelligent network, admit, very intelligent network of neurons and synapses that interact and process and relay information throughout our bodies. So we're actually taking part of that process. I remember really early on, and I hear this from other teachers too, but in my initial learning, I remember hearing that phrase, we're interrupting a stress response. We're interrupting, and that word interrupting is really valuable for me. I'm interrupting something, a state of being where someone might perceive themselves as, and by applying pressure, I'm interrupting that process. So this interconnected process is occurring all the time. So mostly it's without our conscious awareness. So when I apply pressure to this reflexology map, I am consciously, as a practitioner, the practitioner is consciously interacting with internal structures and neuronal processing networks that define and redefine how our body functions. Okay. In simpler terms, in much simpler terms, when I press here, when I press here with the right amount of pressure and good technique, that touch input is going to send a message to a corresponding area. It's not going to send a message. It does send another message back to the actual area, but it's going to send a message to the corresponding area to remind that area. In this case, I'm pressing on my left adrenal reflex point. It's going to send the message to remind that area to return to balance. So that may mean many things. Balance can mean many things. It can mean increased blood flow. It can mean a release of a holding pattern, or maybe a shift in hyperarousal. Maybe there's a hyperaroused state. We've seen this as practitioners. Someone comes in, they're highly aroused. And as, minute by minute as we're giving the reflexology, they begin to calm down and they enter a more relaxed state, right? So we move them from a charged state into a more relaxed or ready awareness. So through reflexology, we encourage the body to return to homeostasis. And homeostasis, for those of you who don't know, because people come to this class who are not reflexologists or practitioners, it's just a return to balance. It's a return to a regulated and free state. The state that I would like to be in much more, right? A relaxed, calm, balanced, regulated state. That's what we want. And the body knows how to get there. Sometimes it just needs a little bit of nudging. It needs a little reminder. So that's what we get to do as a practitioner. I get to become a witness or a facilitator to someone else's process who's trying to get there too. So there's a lot of relativity. I really relate, right, to my clients in this way, to my fellow humans in this way. Um, so I'm present for that client's transformation, and transformation is the essence of alchemy. Alchemy is an act of transformation. So in this act of changing from one form into another, it doesn't just have to be a substance. It doesn't just have to be a chemical. It could actually be us. or I propose that it could actually be us. So I believe that we can transform a belief, a state of being, a physical, a spiritual, psychological, mental, any kind of aspect of self, I believe can be shifted just based on belief and thought alone. And we have this incredible bottom-up practice that helps facilitate a more relaxed way of perceiving one's sense of self in the world. And that can help get us there a little bit quicker, right? So in essence, alchemy is transformation or transmutation. Transmutation, means across, right? Across, and then mutation or mute the theo, I think it is. Mute the theo is the essence of change, right? So it's to change across, fill in the blank, any kind of platform. It's a process of transforming something from one thing into another. So alchemy may be the very system we employ as very grounded, admit, as a practitioner, I want to be very grounded. I want to be present and self-aware. So alchemy may be the very system by which I employ to be that grounded, present, self-aware practitioner. So when I teach reflexology, especially in those advanced classes, the student is asked to transform themselves. That's one of our requirements. That's one of the things we're asking of ourselves, to look within and to alchemize the old, outdated patterning, often negative patterning that keeps our evolution stagnant. Right? So when I, the practitioner, when you, the practitioner, when we as human beings heal and unravel into, the very mystery that is our most true and authentic self, we become aligned. I believe we become aligned with our soul purpose. So in essence, we become alchemists, right? We become alchemists with the ability and capacity and growing capacity to transform ourselves, and without fixing or controlling or judging or manipulating anything, right? I'm not sitting at someone's feet trying to change them and heal them and fix them and control them. It's quite the opposite. I'm spending my life alchemizing myself, becoming more grounded, more complete, more whole, more loving. And in so doing, I inspire my clients to unfold into their most aligned and healed self. And I'm not doing anything. In fact, there's the rub. That's the hardest part, is I mustn't do anything. And if I begin to try to do something, it eliminates all potential, right? So what I'm doing, or we are doing this in a variety of ways. And what I mean by that is, and the reason why I don't have to do anything is, or one of the ways in which we do this is mirror neurons, right? If a client experiences a practitioner who is totally whole and grounded and in their heart, there are very, very specialized brain cells in the client that are saying, I'm doing that too. I can do that too. I'm doing that. I am that. I can be that. So the practitioner is simply being. And we're doing a technique. We're nudging someone in the direction of homeostasis at the same time. So we're able to work with more delicate and deep and slower brain waves that could help facilitate this process. We're doing that too. But we're really creating, we're spending our lives kind of doing this. And so the classes are kind of an inspiration to get us to do that more and more through exercises, right? So practitioner state is everything. My state influences the client, and the message itself is one of great clarity, great consistency, great groundedness, and tremendous love. So I would like to know, after all those words I just said aloud, I would like to know what you think in a preliminary way. How and in what ways do you think this could possibly work? Based on what I said and based on what you know about reflexology, and alchemy, or if that word is still kind of unfamiliar and elusive, what do you feel about transformation? The capacity that if I work on myself, can I change another? Do you believe reflexology can be alchemizing? Or do you believe that reflexology has the power to transform a physical, spiritual, or psychological disruption? And you don't have to believe that, but I want to know what you believe. So, as you want, you can unmute and just say aloud. And I would love to hear where you are in this moment.
Word that you haven't used that is in there completely is the word presence.
Yes.
Because in Suki healing, you talk about, well, and any healing, it's more the healer's presence can heal, and that's all. Everything you said fits in that word. That's all I wanted to say right now.
Beautiful, Donna. As you know, you've been in a lot of my classes. I love to write down everything that is said aloud. And so you said presence, and Carol went, yeah, yeah, yeah. So presence, yeah. What else? What else is coming to heart and mind?
I wanted to reiterate that being the healing environment, just by it's again the vibration, the frequency. So the more that you could be fully present, and we've done our own alchemical work, as you have said, then again, if you're raising your own vibration, then that will positively affect another person. I had an experience where I worked with a woman that had strabismus, or when I went out to the side, and she came in just sobbing and continued to sob. And as I'm trying to get information from her, she said, "Don't touch this particular toe." So she got on the table and she's talking and sobbing, and I lightly touched that toe, and the toe changes. And it wasn't touching the table. So slowly, just by lightly touching, it went down by itself, and her eye went back to neutral. To And then it stayed that way for, I don't know, a long time, meaning months or things like that. I don't know if it ever returned because I only saw her a couple times. But that was amazing to me, amazing, excuse me, to her as well. That number one, I touched her toe and it changed, and then her eye changed as well.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
it's about just being there, listening, and kind of distracting, interrupting that neuronal connection. It was to a past memory.
Beautiful. And thank you. Yes. And you brought up that idea of the healing environment, the energy, the frequency, and raising the vibration. We could think of that with waves too. I was talking with somebody yesterday, right? There's the wave that goes up and the peak, and then there's the fall, and then there's the dip, and how we are intimately, I believe, I know I am intimately aware of those rises and those falls, and that this life is about all of it, not just trying to be on the peak the whole time, like to be able to navigate through it all. And that idea of being able to facilitate or create a healing um, and a safe environment, that in and of itself is also helping to nurture. So thank you, really good for bringing that up. Who else? What else comes to mind?
Out there, I was hearing you talk just brought me to tears because I've been on an intense healing journey since my 20s, so whatever, 25 years. And my goal has always been to try to transform my struggles into benefit for other people. Like, how can I make this a positive? How can I bring this? And I've worked with spiritual alchemy on myself for a long time when I first heard about it in yoga years ago. And I'm just so excited to hear you talking about like just being a practitioner and bringing that energy into a room with a client. It can just be there. And it's like that what is it called, entrainment, where the cells just sort of match. And it just brings me a lot of joy and
Mm.
excitement about the future of being a practitioner. So I'm just sort of I've only been a year out, so my practice is still building and slow, but
Oh,
I'm really excited for it. So
it's so, thank you so much. It's so wonderful to see your face and really beautiful. And what I hear and what you're saying too, that idea of the adversity that we might go through ends up being of great benefit to others. And as we heal ourselves, I believe as I heal myself, I heal others. As I heal others, not I heal, I'm not doing anything, but that it's contagious. Really beautiful. There's a phrase that you may be familiar with called the wounded warrior. I think it's called the wounded healer or the wounded warrior. Carol, Carol V, you were about to speak. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've
So
heard of it, but I can't remember what.
it's
Was
Chiron,
it the
though.
peaceful warrior?
There is the peaceful warrior too. Yeah.
It's wounded healer, and then it goes back to Chiron. And
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Chiron's in conjunction with, I don't remember who, Jupiter or somebody today. So, oh, perfect.
That's so great. So that's the first time I heard it as an astrologer, no,
yeah,
someone who was doing my astrology thing said I was in that phase of the wounded healer. And I thought
Mhm.
that's interesting. And is it, there's no good or bad, right? I was like, okay, what does that mean? And when he began to explain, is that there was a way in which my pains, my wounded parts would influence and help others. And I think there is something to be said about the adversity we endure ends up becoming of great benefit to others. And yeah,
And
Kristen,
yeah, I really see that all the time as something that we personally, as Kristen was saying, that have gone through divorce, illness, whatever, is purposeful in that then we are able to understand, help others to transition, heal as well from that situation. And we learn from them as well. It's both ways.
beautiful. Yeah, we certainly need each other. Boy, oh boy. All right. Carol V, what were you going to say?
What's kind of piggybacking off of what you said, that to me, and I've done a lot of personal work over the years, um, but creating the space for them to be who they are. And I don't think I can do that unless I create the space for myself. And then without any judgment or anything, just holding that space for them for whatever happens, and no judgment. And that's when the healing happens. I see it, when there's no judgment. And I don't think I can do that if I'm out there.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So I have to create my environment. What's it going to look like? Where am I today? What I have to ask myself, where am I today? Is any of my stuff getting in here today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. Thank you. And you're reminding me too, we can't dial it in. We can't
No.
pretend. We can't play the good practitioner or the healer. For those of
Yeah.
you who have done the archetypes class. We can't play it. We have to be what we are. I often quote Henry Miller, who very succinctly succinctly wrote, "Be that which you are completely." And sometimes it might mean that in any given moment, if my energy is such that, like my energy today is not like go, 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 which sometimes I am. A lot of people know me as a very highly charged and excited person and teacher. I'm not there today. How can
Mhm.
I honor where I am today?
Mhm.
Be where we are. And in being where we are, that energy is going to influence. It's not a bad place, it's just a different place,
It's
but it's
different.
honest. And that I think also will translate in the practitioner room.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Who else?
Chantel.
Yeah.
Hi. Um,
Hi.
hi. I'm a black screen.
I know your voice. Hello, Christina.
I just, what you said made me just, I Googled systems in nature that synchronize. Um, and it says synchronization in nature is a fascinating phenomenon where independent elements interact and settle into a shared rhythm or unified behavior without a central conductor. This spontaneous order emerges from simple local interactions, whether among living organisms, single cells, or even inanimate physical objects. I found that interesting, and it went on to mention fireflies, neural oscillations, cardiac pacemaker cells, flocks and schools of birds. All kinds of things are listed of how these organisms will synchronize. So I think that's what you were heading at.
Oh, it's so good. I am so glad. And when gosh, you said without a central conductor. Yes, yes, yes. There is a beautiful term. I forget what it is, but it's actually there is no leader in a flock of birds. There is no leader when we see this in nature. It is an energetic, it's a I mean, we're saying these words a lot these days, but it is. There's like a frequency that is being conducted, as it were, to use that word, amongst them all within the flock or within, that birth or wherever, whatever group of animals is leading. We're a little bit more divorced from it sometimes, but that is so cool, Christina. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Lori.
Chantel, I wanted to share this experience I had. It was many years ago, and I was doing reflexology for women who we'd go on retreats and people who were sober different lengths of time. And so we were at Bill Wilson, who is the founder of AA. We were actually at his house, and I was working. Somehow I managed to be in this big room at Bill Wilson's house, and I was working on one of the participants, and there were people who were sitting reading the big book, or they were reading different things. So I was not alone in there. It was amazing how the reflexology translated across the whole room so that everybody, you could feel the energy drop. So when we talk about vibration, I remember I still was like in shock and in awe because was looking around, and I was like, as I was working on this person, and I was like, wow, and there's the entrainment where we're all in sync, but everybody is in that essence of being very calm and very centered. It was really very palpable and very powerful. So, and I was new to reflexology. I probably was 3 years, and I was just blown away. Yeah, it's very cool.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, I could totally see it. Have others have had this experience where you're like in a park or you're giving it outside or there's other people around. I'm seeing a nod here and there. Yeah, it is. Other people can feel it. Yeah.
I've done volunteer work for cancer, for aesthetics and massage and reflexology. And it's amazing how that energy, the people, and I've been out, when they're doing a run for a cancer run, doing chair massage, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like, they just kind of flock around.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I
it's
can totally
amazing.
see it.
Hmm.
Oh my God. To add to that, and then I'll see if there's anybody else who wants to speak, and then we'll move on. I remember I was asked to do it was actually massage. It was sports massage. People were doing it was like a short run. It was like a 5K mud run or something, or a 10K mud run. And so they would come after and we would do a little sports massage. And I asked the woman who had asked me to be there, I said, can I give reflexology too if they ask for it, if they want it, whatever, hands or feet? She goes, sure, sure, sure. And I got to say, there is such a difference between when somebody comes and you're doing a sports massage and working on their calves or their thighs or, whatever, and actually doing reflexology. And I felt that. I felt even just people going, what does she do? Like they were so drawn to where we were and that act of giving in a very, very different way. Very, very cool. Anybody else before we move on? Good stuff. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. And what about our questions? We'll open it up one more time. And then I also want to get into doing some stuff today. I want us to feel what we're talking about today as well. But these questions that we're holding, is there anything that comes to mind thus far, given what's been said or what is moving through you right now? Do you believe there is a power within and around us? And do you believe that power can be harnessed during a session? Let's begin there. What do you believe?
Hi, Shanta.
Yeah, Meg.
I believe that when I do my breath work, when I know I have a client coming in and I get myself grounded in my space, and I listen to them when they come in with what's been troubling them, what they've been challenged by, once they're quiet, and there's that stillness in the air, I feel like shortly after I begin, our breathing patterns start that dance. And I just feel that my intentions for how the session's going to go in my mind, and then sometimes, as we know, we're led down a different path during the session. Um, you know, I just find a great sense of peace when I see them just melt into the table and their breathing rate just slows down. And I feel it's on such a visceral level for them, but as well as for me. Um, and then sometimes there's tears, after their session that they just feel a great release. So it's much more than just hands on the feet or hands on the face or scalp. It's so much more powerful than I think we can even put into words. And I don't think we're even really meant to really try to dissect it. Just go with the flow and trusting it and just knowing by the state of the client you're in the right zone, you're in the right on the right path, and just letting it happen naturally.
So cool.
Yeah.
So good. I can't wait to see you and do this work
Me
together.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for saying that. It's like I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, I don't think we can put this to words. I don't think it's supposed to be. And it's true. It's like it's impossible. The way there's that phrase, the way is wordless. Like there's no way to put it to words, right? The uttering of even a single syllable is somehow doesn't even match up. And yet there's this opportunity we have to deepen what we're sensing and feeling so as to grow as a an individual and as a collective and within our field. So cool. Within our field, in the field.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. Anybody else? What comes to mind? Can we harness this power within and around us during a session?
Well, as we know, we're all energy. So just being the vessel for the energy. I was doing healing touch once in the hospital and on a patient, and the family member was seated at in the room. And at the end of the session, the daughter that was seated there said that she could feel the energy because she said, "Well, are you doing Reiki or whatever?" And she goes, "That's I could feel it over here during the session."
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I had one massage client that said, I just like being around you. So, and regardless of the massage, she go, that's what I enjoy. So again, it's that being that present, energetic field. And we create relaxation by being present with the intention of best, whatever is the best and highest good for all.
Beautiful.
Can I piggyback on that,
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
So this is just my take, is especially since the pandemic, people, there's an epidemic of loneliness, right?
Mhm.
And people don't know how to come together in community. And I just feel like these synchronicities that happens organically during a session, that invites somebody in to be in their body and not in their head, and trusting that what we're doing as practitioners, what we're doing on a vibrational level, um, is serving them on a much greater scale. That's what people are craving. And when you said that, that this client of yours, Carol, just felt better just being in your presence, being seen, being heard, and listening, and eye contact, and looking at that client and really taking them all in for how they're showing up at that given moment. And that's what people want. And that's why I think they linger after the session. They don't want to leave because they feel like you're really holding them. And that's something they could take with them. And where else are they getting that? They're not getting it at a doctor's office as they rush you through. They're not getting it out in your daily errands. So it's unfortunately a rarity to have somebody really connecting with you. So it's so important. This work is so important.
Yeah, really beautiful. Yeah, we are moving beyond just that scientific touch input. Um, there's something, yeah, much greater. So good. This this is just the beginning. I think part of this process of understanding and unfolding and becoming one's most authentic true self, I have to know what I believe, right? And you know, I influence we influence our outcomes, right? We must know what we believe because what I believe will influence those outcomes. So that means I have the power to ignite my potential. So I have to know what I believe. Do I believe it's possible to heal X within me? Do I believe it's possible to heal that shame? Do I believe it's possible to heal this doubt? Do I believe it's possible for this pain to dissipate and reintegrate and solidify and return to balance? Do I believe it? That's number one. With that, I got nowhere to go. That's the jumping off place. I must first know what I believe. And I believe, I believe until I know that I can heal myself, I'm kind of at the mercy of which isn't bad, divine, the intelligence of this world, divine intelligence. So things might move through me, might heal, might this, that, the other. But what if I take a moment and actually stop and listen to what is deeply dwelling within me, and to have the courage to have a belief, and that it may be something beyond the shame, beyond the doubt, beyond the fear, beyond the worry, what is possible. I do something in the level 2 class for RTA called Synchrony Symphony. I mentioned it earlier. And this synchrony, like synchronous movement, is when a practitioner aligns and coordinates their movements with the client. So we initiate movement whilst providing reflexology. And those of you who have been in that second class, you know what I'm talking about, right? I've taken videos, Lori's taken videos, and the whole room is swaying. It's gorgeous. It's one of my favorite things. Everybody is just involved. Like everybody is like a cellist, and it's a symphony, truly. Reflexologists are cellists, right? So our bodies are what initiate the pressure, not my fingers, right? So there are very subtle and synchronistic movements between myself and the client. So for me, and what I teach and how I do it in session is I'm always leading with the heart. And we're going to do it today together. So I always ground myself. I feel into my heart. I feel into my client's heart, and I lead with my heart. So if I were holding someone's feet, they're usually facing me, and I'm holding their heels like this on that side, and I'm in my heart and I sense their heart. My first move is to lean forward towards their heart. And that's what initiates the movement. And there is a slight, beautiful gesture that is helping them feel into their back body. You'll actually just see their body go, "Choo." And it's really nice on a massage table or a Reiki table. You could see it also in a zero gravity chair, but you could really see it as your heart moves forward in this subtle, subtle gesture. So if I can do this as I exercise no mind, that is, I'm continually releasing my ideas of who I think I am and who I think my client is. I allow my thought forms to rise and fall, and some might come in that are unexpected, and I allow those to rise and fall. It's as if they're able to be filled up and infused and suspended suddenly and then let go. So there's a level of acceptance for everything that is coming up and in, felt and released. When we get really good at it, there comes a point where when we're in session, we enter what is called no mind, where there is nothing, no negative thought forms coming in. So when I'm in session, I'm not thinking. If someone says, I have cancer, I have IBS, I have type 2 diabetes, which I work at a clinic where this is all I hear when I'm working there. But this is what you got, this is what you got, this is what you got. When I'm working on them, they don't got it, right? They don't have it. I'm not working with that. I'm working with all the cells that are free, that are continually being liberated in any given second. I choose to work with what is right with my client, right? So there is an acceptance with what is, right? I'm not I'm not wearing the rose-colored glasses. I know I can see, I can feel, and I choose, I believe, and I choose to be with that which is beautiful and thriving and changing. And then under my fingertips, I'm not going, "Ooh, God, ooh, it's really tight in there. How's your liver?" I'm not doing that. No, I'm going, "Oh my God, ooh, that just changed." I'm also not saying that aloud, by the way, but in my, I'm like, "Ooh, it just changed. Oh, the temperature. Oh, there's movement there." And I'm just following as if I was walking along a path and noticing certain flowers in bloom. I'm just noticing the changes. I'm allowing it to rise. I'm allowing it to fall. I'm not holding on to anything. I'm accepting, I'm allowing, and I'm perpetually letting go. Okay. Um, there is one of my favorite quotes, and I always forget the beginning of it. Um, but the last part is the end. The quote goes something like this. It's a Buddhist principle attributed to the Buddha, but Jack Cornfield, I think, popularized it. And in the end, only three things matter. In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how, this is the best part, how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. A little bit different, a little bit of an aside, but that idea of gracefully letting go, that which is not meant for me, but also just gracefully letting go in any given moment, because the moment is gone. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone, right? And there's new moments in every given second. Um, so, so, uh, let's see. I want to move into I want to move into movement. I want us to move before we go into our days. Um, So I mentioned this heart-filled place, and when asked about my work, this is generally what people say is it's very heart-filled or heart-centered. I generally use medium pressure. I'm very specific. I'm very detailed. I'm very much listening to the client's tissue, but the application of that pressure is really coming from this heart-centered place, right? It's not coming from me doing a technique. I also, as I mentioned before, I am not fixing, controlling, judging anything, right? I'm just nudging them in the direction of homeostasis. And they get to make that proverbial leap into the unknown, into themselves, right? They get to do that. So then I get to do it too. I get to do it all day long, every single day. Learn how to let things rise, go, and let things rise and fall and let go. Right. So I do it for myself first, and then I bring it into the session room, and I get to enter more expansive places within me, and so does the client. So in many ways, there is so much to say and do before we enter the alchemical realm. But I think today is like proof that we are all thinking about it, right? Carol just wrote something. Let's see. Do. No mind. Thoughts come in, pass through, and release. No judgment. Mindfulness. Art of being present. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So this is the thing is it's like I say, I hold out this kind of material until a later, more advanced thing, but I'm so glad we're doing this because we're all talking about these same principles. It's all moving through us in a variety of ways. Those who are speaking and those who are not that are here. Yeah, very, very good. I often joke in my classes that I'm like, I think I must have the most developed posterior cingulate cortex. It's known as the PCC. It's a part of the cingulate cortex that is where self-reflection takes place. And whenever I have these classes and we enter conversation, I think, oh my God, our PCCs are like, like we're totally in the flow and self-reflecting. Yeah, very, very good. Very good. Okay, so I want to move into a couple different exercises, and that's how we'll maybe end class. And we'll open it up at the end too to see how all of this feels. Some of you have done some of these things before because I do teach them in my live classes. So the very first thing I want to do is what I call the back body. The back body is a way of being inside our body. So we're going to do it together now. And If you're sitting, that's good. If you're standing, that's fine. And you're going to go ahead and lower your gaze or close your eyes, and you're just going to enter your inner body. So you could kind of sense and feel into that place within you. And you could even imagine that you're leaning just ever so gently against a wall, or if you have a back to your chair, you could kind of lean into it. In so doing, you are softening that jaw. It's loose. Your neck is free. Your chin is relaxed. If you take a breath, you can feel into that belly, into your heart. So the back body, and when you're ready, I'd like you to, if you're closing your eyes, just move into a lowered gaze. And from that lowered gaze, see if you could maintain that really loose jaw, the neck that is free. In your heart, place your palm there if you'd like. You could place the other palm on your solar plexus or belly. And remind yourself that you don't have to be forward. You don't have to be showing anything or doing anything. You get to be inside yourself. Then when you're ready, and some of you might be on gallery mode. If you're not, you'll be looking right at me. And I'll be looking right at the last person who spoke. And what you will do is I want you to look up and choose somebody's eyes and let them see you. So the difference would be I'm not looking forward and looking at somebody's eyes and igniting and smiling. Instead, I'm staying in my back body and I'm going to feel yourself in the back of your eye sockets. So what is happening is you are letting yourself be witnessed. So I'm being witnessed. And I'm not doing this, right? I'm not saying, oh, how are you today? I'm not doing that. I'm in my body and I'm letting someone see me. And if you are on gallery mode, you could switch to another person if you'd like. I have a few of you at the top of my screen. And I could just see you enough. You could choose one more person. There's someone I know very well. And I'm sending myself a reminder because I just went out a little bit because I have feelings for this person. I get it. And I allow that all to rise and fall, and then I return to myself and let myself be seen. So I'm not doing anything to anybody. I'm letting myself be seen. So the act of being witnessed, we're not doing, we're being. Excellent. You're going to stay in that space. You could continue to keep your eyes on somebody if that is very grounding for you and you're liking the opportunity to be in that back body. It might be new for you. And at the same time, you're going to add something. You're going to add your heart space. If you're not able to fully get in your heart space while looking at somebody, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to feel your heart. I am feeling my heart. Close your eyes if you need to. Feel your heart space. I think to myself, and I often remind myself, my mantra is, I have nothing to do. I have nowhere to go, nobody to be. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, nobody to be. Once you feel into your heart and you got that and it's there, I want you to extend it to one other person in the room. And I want you to feel your heart at the same time that you're feeling their heart. And can you do that? And if you are able to feel into your heart and their heart, I want you to blast off those walls and feel into the hearts of the people around you in your neighborhood or community. See if you could sense and do it all at the same time. Be witnessed in your back body, in your heart, seeing somebody feeling their heart and feeling the hearts of all the people populating your neighborhood. And if it's easier, you could close your eyes and go further still and sense, try to sense, see how far you can go, all the hearts of all sentient beings. We're going to do one exercise. We're just going to do it a few times. It is tending to the HPA axis. So you're in your heart, a very light awareness of all the other hearts. And you're going to take your right second digit, your pointer finger, and place it on your left thumb print where some of you know the pituitary gland reflex area is. And you might already see me. I'm beginning a rocking gesture back and forth. So as I rock my body forward, I'm going to try rocking my finger up and rocking it back as my body goes back, rocking up and rocking back, rocking up and rocking back, rocking up, rocking back. And now you get to have those little reminders as we just do a very simple gesture. Is your jaw loose? Is your neck free? Are you still in your heart? Are you breathing? And when you're ready, you're going to take that same finger and now just press on the adrenal gland reflex area, hold it at the level of your physical throat, and take a breath. Now you're going to move on to the next finger. You're going to go 1 as you're rocking, 2, 3, 4, 5, and return to the adrenal and breath at the level of your throat. And third finger, rocking up, back, up, back. Adrenal, throat. Fourth finger, 1, 2, 3, 4. Adrenal, throat. And finally, last finger, 1, 2, 3, 4. Adrenal. On the second hand to the thumb, we rock up, 2. If you can, open your eyes and begin to orient to your space, looking around the room. Adrenal, throat. And see if you could stay in your heart, in your back body. Second finger, 1, 2. Adrenal, throat, breath. Next finger, 1, adrenal. You could try doing it side to side if you'd like. Instead of the rocking to and fro, you could go side to side. Next finger, rock up, 2, 3, 4. Adrenal, throat. And I believe the last finger, 1, or maybe I have 6 fingers perhaps. and, and, and. Adrenal, last time. And breath, and hold. So before we open it back up and close, I want to know how that was for you. How do you feel doing any of those things? The back body, entering your heart, feeling other hearts. Was that difficult? Was it wild? Was it weird? Was it emotional? And then how was it trying self-care reflexology with a rocking gesture? How were any of those things for you? Are you all sleepy? Yeah, Claire goes,
I have to be honest, I fell asleep.
You fell asleep? I love it.
I dozed off, and then my eyes, and you were saying to look at people, but it was at the end, and I missed that whole thing.
That
I
makes
just
me,
got too relaxed.
oh, I love it. That's beautiful, Robin.
Really enjoyed looking at people in the eye. Well, okay, you can't really see their eyes in this little picture, but it felt like I could feel tuning in, and you can feel other people tuning into other people, and it did change everything.
Yeah. Thank you, Donna. Very good. Claire.
Yeah, I'd like to just say I've been following your back body exercise for a while and it works. I mean, I can be driving my car and I say, "Oh, back body," and it's like, "Oh, phew, okay." But I'm working with a group of women that we do little snippets of energy stuff, and I did an exercise where I said, I went through the whole body and asked them to, like, the eyes, let your eyes fall into their bottom of the eye socket and all this. And then, but the big one for me was dropping the tongue to the bottom of the mouth. And when I do that for myself, everything lets go all at once. I get into the back body just by consciously dropping the tongue. That's That's how I do it.
Beautiful. And that can be so hard to do, right? Because that muscle is activated often.
Yeah. When you drop the tongue, you realize, oh my gosh, it's been pushing at the roof of my mouth all this time.
Amazing. So true. Beautiful. Yeah. Anybody else? How was that for you moving through? Was it relaxing? Meg?
It was very relaxing. I like the rhythm of it.
Mm,
Yeah, it felt really good. It just felt like a wave, inside of me as I was just pressing each point and just breathing into it, and at the same time being just mindful of my heart. Yeah.
beautiful.
And I love that part that you suggested, just not just feeling, your own heart, but then, everybody else, and just sending it out. It's just that made me a little bit emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. Really good. Yeah, you just wait till you have someone's feet in your hands. When I see you in a couple months, you'll be doing all of that. And that's, I mean, a lot of you just finished less than a month ago. Rob and Claire, there's people that just took the class and, have felt into that. It's very cool stuff. All right, Donna.
Yeah, one thing I thought of that I from decades ago in a mime class, when you're actually performing, one person suggested like you have a string from your heart and you're connecting to strings with everyone in the audience. And it actually was very effective.
That is awesome. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, because, right. So I might visualize other people's hearts everywhere, but to have that connectivity, that's cool. Thank you, Donna. That's really cool. All right. Yeah, very, 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 very good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the heart has its own intrinsic nervous system. It is no small thing. It is, there's three brains really, right? There's our head brain that has 86 billion neurons. We've got our gut brain that also has 100 million to 500 million neurons. And the heart is like only what, 40,000 neurons? They call it the little brain. Thank you. Thank you. People are saying goodbye. I know I'm going a little over. We're going to be done in like a couple minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So that idea of, this little brain having its own intrinsic nervous system, that it's like, this seemingly, tiny, but not a lot, but it's very, very potent. Studies have been conducted that indicate the heart itself, somebody said the word conductor earlier, right? Is a conductor. Its energy extends and can influence others. So this becomes, and what I pose to you today to continue to think about and consider is, can our heart be that conductor? Can we as reflex, can it be the thing that alchemizes? Is it part of the equation anyway? Is it part of what we ignite in order to help heal ourselves? To feel our own, to feel into another. Yeah. Yeah, so and in closing, that this final possibility to consider and take into your day is, reflexology. We hold the space between two potentials, right? A body out of balance and a body in balance, right? Is it possible to move from a body out of balance to a body in balance? And can I do it with the vastness and the electricity of the heart, right? So there is that kind of vastness. There is a vastness, a sort of infinite wisdom that when accessed provides a greater opportunity to access wellness in a very short period of time,
Mm.
right? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we have to go into our day. I went 10 minutes over. I couldn't help it. It felt so good to be with everybody. And is there anything else that comes to mind that feels like it needs to be said before we go into our days?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Mm,
so much.
mm,
Thank you,
Well,
Chantal. Thank you, everybody.
thank you so much. A beautiful day. Oh, I'm seeing hi, Christina, and yes, Robin and Laura. I'll see you soon. So many people I'm going to see soon.
mm. Bye-bye.
Claire, beautiful. Christina, Laura, Catherine, Francesca. Yeah, Meg, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I will see you very, very soon.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you,
Thank
Chantel.
you.